Peace. Peace, peace,
What up?
peace, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to the Terror Dome, as they say it. Yes, sir.
Yes, are you ready? Give me a
man.
thumbs up, Jess, if you
Yes.
ready. Okay, we got you. What is the Terror Dome?
That's Public Enemy, man. You know, come on, man. Public Enemy, bro.
70s. Billy, you want to?
Just feel free to jump in and correct them, because obviously, if it ain't somebody named Dak or whatever his name is, Duke,
Dak.
Dax, whatever,
Dak.
he don't know.
That. Jess, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Philly, you want to tell everybody why we late getting on the show this morning?
Is Philly on vacation?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I am about to take a vacation in the next 2 weeks with my lovely bride, my battle buddy, Wendy Council. Shout out to Wendy Council. Let's just drop her a bomb to Wendy Council. You know what I'm saying? She in there on the computer right now, trying to finish up that graduate degree. Shout out to her, man. That's a hell of a woman right there, man. Doing her graduate program, just got promoted to GS11. And she got 2 grandkids, take care of them, and a man like me, I tell you, wow. But anyway, I kind of got to talk. But anyway, yeah, I'm about to take a vacation with her. This is going to be our 30-year anniversary, so we dropped 3 different bombs there. Boom, 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 30 years. So yeah, I'm trying to get ready to, practice my joint, my college jacked up.
Please don't wear that on vacation, especially that.
You know what I'm saying? It matches my complexion.
Out there. Like, don't do that with Miss Wendy. Don't mess up her life.
Matches my complexion.
How the heck did she keep
Thank you, brother.
That's
What?
what I want to know. Nothing. Never mind. Anyway.
How did she pick me? Would you like to know?
Oh, I don't.
I'll tell the story.
I think you coerced her, but I don't want to say that.
Hey, if you're looking up Freddie Kincaid, shout out for you for saying congrats, man. Thank you.
And with Freddie, though, I would like to say that he is one of the greatest realtors starting out down there in the Panama City area. So if you all are looking to move anywhere, please hit him up, because he can help you all virtually, as I saw, as well as in person.
Oh, shoot. Okay, dope. Dang.
I need a good realtor. But
Hey,
in San Antonio, maybe
property.
you can give me some tips.
First of all, buy a house. That's tip number 1. Buy a house. Stay under your budget. Tip number 2.
I mean, you could have said tip number 2 is the debt to income ratio.
Yeah, I guess that's a good tip.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Why you playing? DC, I know that, retirement will be in your near future, but looking at those various states and what they offer veterans is so important.
Right. Texas is definitely a good state to definitely retire.
Don't do that. Alabama as well, sir.
What?
Don't do it. That's why I said every state has great benefits for veterans. I just think each person has their own preference and should just look at each, state accordingly. You go over there repping Texas.
I'll just say Texas has good military pro. But while we talking about Philly, you all right? Are you paused?
I'll wait till y'all finish, because you act a little sideways this morning.
Before I say what I was about to say.
Say what?
Where's the disclaimer before I say what I was about to say?
Oh, here you go. Anything comes from Unpopular Celebrity Podcast, all official. None of the conversations or comments from us or the guests represent the DOD and the armed forces as a whole.
Well, I was like, he was about to have a Senator Mitch McConnell moment. I was like, is he there?
No, it's the Lord's day. I'm gonna be, God bless you. God bless you.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, shout out to our sponsor for the show. Got to make sure we give them a shout out to Valor Vacations. So shout out to them for sponsoring the show as well. As Billy says, he's about to take this little vacation with his lovely wife.
First of all, it's not little. It's not little. First of all, get it right. Get it right.
He's about to go on his medium-sized vacation. And make sure that he gets it in. Goes out there. Keep your shoes on. Keep your shoes on. That's tip number 1. Keep your shoes on. Ain't nobody want to see that. Ain't nobody want to see.
No, hey, I only got that one hangnail.
For his 30-year anniversary, those Nike that offers them a
I have to get them those. But let me tell you about Valor Vacations real quick. So Valor Vacations, a veteran-owned franchise specializing in cruise, land, and tour vacations. We proudly support our military family and friends and are committed to finding special rates and discounts for you or Philly, DC. Whether you are celebrating a milestone event like a 30-year anniversary or just want to get away from people like Philly, DC, their team can help you plan a perfect vacation tailored to your needs, whether it's getting away from Philly, DC, or having a good time. Their in-depth knowledge, personal experience, and strong relationships with cruise lines and tour companies will help guide you on your best vacation so you never have to see Philly, DC for your vacation. Contact them at 1-855-VALOR-ME. That's 1-855-825-6763 for personal assistance and exclusive offers. So thank you, Valor Vacation, once again. Y'all go ahead and use them. Get your user lose out the way. Get some vacations. Get out the heat. Go have fun on your vacation. Don't go where Philly, DC is going. It'll be a lot better time.
Hold on. Next Sunday, I'm also going to Turks and Caicos. So.
Oh, for real?
Sure is. Their retirement trip.
Oh, okay. Not the Turks and Caicos. Okay.
So we're going to be out there. Did y'all see Faith Donovan's photo that she loaded? She was like this, you know, with her poolside hat on.
Okay. Okay. Why do you see like a cruise big? Hey, we all had to deal with him. We all had to deal with him. Hey, you only know the buffoonery that would happen before we even came on. But while we talking about it, me speak. Popular celebrities. Billy, why you the only one that ain't abused? Everybody else having a good time.
Because it's garbage. That's why, man. You sound like you're doing nursery rhymes. Celebrities. You sound like you're doing nursery rhymes. That's what you sound like, man.
But it's trendy.
Put the comments up there. Somebody responded to that. Who's that dude? They in the council. You right, bro. He's a herb, bro. You right, bro. You right, bro. You right.
Crazy. Anyway, welcome to the quarter, y'all. Y'all go ahead and come on the show. Y'all see the comment on there. We even have a free gift for the first member that volunteers to come on the show. And we'll set y'all up with that free gift to tell you what it is once you come on the show. Drop a bomb for the person that helped us out with the free gifts that we are able to give away on the show. So big shout out to them. I'm going to lightly turn the show over to Philly for these things that he wants to discuss and see what happens with this. I know this is going to be crazy, but and now, introducing Philly, DC. That was pretty cool. You didn't like that either?
Just, I don't know about you, man, but I'm about to jump out this damn window. You know what I mean? It's like giving a kid something and they just lose their mind over it. Good Lord have mercy. No, real quick, just gonna tell everybody, just a reminder, as Pete said it, like this is the corner. So this is your opportunity to get on the show, chop it up with us, talk about whatever you want. We're gonna take good care of you. If I see you out there, I know Faith usually gets on too. So if you're brand new to the show, how it works is if you want to get on the show, there should be a link. If Pete did his job in the comments down there, click the link, and then once you click the link, you'll be directed to this guy named Pete. He's kind of weird. But give him a chance. He'll get it all worked out, and then he'll put you on the show. And again, you can talk about us, what we're talking about, or you can talk about whatever you want. So, first thing I would like to throw out there is, did y'all see the post from the Air Force Times about General Wilsbach, a.k.a. COMAC, talking about bringing back standards? It was the rave of the internet in many ways. What are y'all thoughts on that?
So since I'm the retiree in the room right now, I just thought, retiring out of ACC, it was always one of those things that you are looking at like standards. But as a senior leader in those units, sometimes I think I reflected back on like are we empowering our senior NCOs? And we're also senior NCOs when you're serving in those SEL positions, but what are you doing to make sure standards and dress and appearance are first line supervisor issues? I will always believe that. Even for me, I'm going to be a junior ROTC instructor, and we still have to uphold those same standards. So it's like, what am I doing to illustrate to my people, like, hey, this is what you can do, and this is what you should not be doing just because you want to try it. Now, I'll be the first to say, I push the limits on everything wholeheartedly. And even what went so viral with my nails, with my shadow box, I was like, I'm gonna be honest. I was so stressed out. My son had just had surgery, and then the first thing that they saw was like, "Oh, she got them Woman King nails going on, baby." I sure do. But I just think, like, can we help teach people like what the limits are? Let them explore, because I was torn when you get to. We have told people to be their true, authentic self. So that was the message that I started to look at. So now when I think I pulled out the quote that he had said, and let me go back and see if I can find it. But he was basically alluding to, like, we give up so many privileges when we join the service, which is true. But then when you think about what we have introduced to our force, meaning being your true, authentic self, people don't find their true, authentic self in what complements them in their uniform. So that's my thing. It's like, yes, standards are important. I remember saying, if you can't handle the smallest details, that means I can't trust you with the biggest things that require you to accomplish the mission. But where do we find that healthy medium? Well, we just had, leadership in the military, or specifically in the Air Force, that said, hey, we want you to bring your true, authentic self to work. These are your left and right parameters. Explore your left and right parameters. But now it's like, you about to suit it and boot it, because we need you to be ready for great power competition.
I'm kind of, you know what? Like, it's cool. I think the weird part to say it's cool, but okay, I get the point. I do. But I think putting a message out for standards is not a one and done thing. It needs to be constant. And when it's not constant, it feels like we're always coming back around. Like we started, we try to let the wheel run itself, and then it's like, oh, the wheels fell off. Let's go ahead and bring it back around. So it should be a constant thing. And if it's not going to be constant, it's kind of like, what's the point? So I get what he's saying. I applaud him for doing something. I think the way it goes about it, like, if you have to direct people to do open ranks, then what are you really doing? It's almost like mandatory that you have to make sure people are within standards. And I think there was a video a while, this might have been 5-6 years ago, and they were talking about the Air Force I think the Armed Forces of retention. They were talking to Congress, and the Marines said, basically, we don't care about retention. Like, we have a standard in which what it takes to become a Marine, and if you don't live up to it, you won't be that. And if you do, you will, and we'll call you Marine, and that's it. Like, we're not gonna go off of our standards because our retention rates are 20% lower or 10% lower. Now, let me say this up front. I do not want to be a Marine. Shout out to the Marine Corps and what they do. Y'all can do y'all thing, and I appreciate for what y'all do, because it ain't gonna be me. So I like the Air Force. I love the Air Force and what they do and what we do, but I think our standards has fluctuated so much, and this general is trying to get it back on board. I think he's starting with ACC, which should be the command that we start with. Might as well start with the Air Combat Command to get it off and running. But I wonder if other 4-stars will pick up on it as well. Go ahead, Philly.
Hey, before I get into my response, if you're out there in the audience, this is a perfect opportunity for you to jump on. Again, first person gets on gets a free gift. And I know there's plenty of folks out there that's got some comments and things they want to kind of bring up on this topic. So feel free to jump in. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. Because I do. Oh, wait a minute.
I just
Some
found
girl
a quote.
named Jessica Blair said, but I'm just
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right, so as an all-volunteer force, we willingly relinquish a portion of our individual freedoms. Okay, thank you, Jess. That was perfect timing, because I will be honest, I'll play devil's advocate. So I'll say, just hear me out. Let me time myself. To Pete, just say thumbs up or thumbs down when my time is over, so I don't go over my time. Okay, So I kind of agree. And here's why. Like, when I came in, being from Philadelphia, just like many of you folks can attest, like, I had a high top fade. I had my little Big Daddy Kane coin slots in, and I wanted to join the Air Force. And it was like, yo, you can't do that. You know, you can't have like a high top fade. It's got to be in these particular standards. And I didn't understand why. I was like, what's the big deal? Like, that doesn't stop me from, you know, carrying a weapon or defending my country. But I went and did it. Then when I went out and I snuck and got my nose ring and I put like a clear piece of my nose to keep it open and put some makeup from my wife on there, and my flight chief called me, I was like, yo, what's the big deal? It's just a nose ring. Well, you can't have nose rings in the military, you know, standard.
Wait a minute, you had a nose ring?
Yeah, I still got it.
Back. Like, he had a
Yeah, I wasn't always the super sharp chief, as you know now. You know what I'm saying? I was working back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I still got it. I can't wait till I retire. I'm gonna start putting it in anyway.
Oh
That's
my God.
now. But anyway, I digress. So I think, at least from my opinion, the way I read it, I think what General Wilsbach is getting to is it's partly our fault. And I'll get into that later in the show. Because just to your point, I think we are trying to let folks serve in the military and not give up, I think the intent is not to give up all of who you are in order to be in the military. If you are a Christian, if you are a member of LGBTQ, if you believe in the Norse God, it doesn't mean you still can't serve your country. So unlike back in the day when I joined, they allow you to express that. I remember back in the day, like, and maybe it's the same way, but like even religious, like jewelry, you had to tuck that stuff in. You couldn't have it out. And I know it's the same way now, but in some cases, like if, you know, you have different, like say if you're, forgive me if I get this wrong, if you're Samoan, you can wear the necklaces that they wear or something like that in your service dress or something. Anyway, so I think the problem is we gotten so far over to the right, there are folks that believe like, look, this is who I want to be. I'm not changing nothing. I still want to serve. And there are folks out there who are following the standard, but there's a large amount of folks who are not, that's taking it to the nth degree. And I hate to be that guy to bring up Beers. Beers is a perfect example. And I would not be surprised. Beers is very much added to this equation for what General Wilsbach said.
Oh, 100%.
Because these folks that are wearing these beards, like these religious accommodations, I mean, it's gotten to a point. I would love to see the statistics on how many religious accommodations were denied. I would imagine, if I were to guess, I would imagine less than 5%. Maybe. Anyway,
So let me ask,
I'm past 2 minutes, so I'm gonna be quiet.
let me ask a question. Like, what do you think the point of this is? So I do my open ranks, whatever, and I find somebody, and it says, you know what, in his little comment, he said 3620 out 3, he said, like, wear the uniform. What am I making sure? That he has his patches on, he has his, everything's in the right spot? Because really it's wash and wear. Go ahead, Jess.
Wear the uniform, because I always think about like some uniforms have not changed to a degree for women. Like when you think about the wear of the uniform, a lot of us are a lot curvier. So we're doing everything we're supposed to do. But when you have these uniforms that don't complement our bodies, then it starts to get into, okay, you're not wearing the uniform properly. But again, when you are having these people model or be like your beta, where's the diversity in the body structures of these women to make sure that the uniform complements various types of women? I get that you want to say like, what is the standards? But I fully believe like, if you can pass your PT test, but you look like, you know, bam, 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 get that person to go be on your beta test to measure these uniforms. That's what I'm saying. Because all you're asking that person to do is pass their standards. Because we know how it is. I've been in a PME environment where people have seen people and was like, oh, that person don't look like the professional image. Why? Because they don't look like a poo that's about to blow away. Like I've seen people that are extremely, you know, appearance-wise, they look like they're in fit or in shape and can't make 1 or 2 damn laps around the track without getting winded. So what I'm saying is just because it looks aesthetically pleasing doesn't always mean like that is the right way.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I was thinking. Like, okay, 3620 on 3, I get it. Like the fade, like shaving and all that haircuts, like that's pretty standard. And I think if somebody's out of whack, somebody will say something to them. I don't think you need to open ranks. Where before, like I remember the BDU days, you had to have your boots polished or had a polished appearance. Your blouse, your pants had to be bloused a certain type of way. Usually I think your uniform had to be ironed or lightly ironed or something like that. But so I understand those. And then the other thing he said was observance of customs and courtesy. How am I going to observe that in an open ranks?
So I'm going to be honest. You know why I think it's there in the open ranks? Because think about so many. I'll use Force Support Squadron for an example. You have at least
FSS.
Flights. So with those 13 flights, like everyone is dispatched in different areas. So if you have this open ranks that will collectively bring everyone together, I hate to say it, now you get to have command teams who get to place a name with a face. And then you got to think about like all the different shift work as well. Now you're forcing people to have these things together to where you are able to see your people. So I just don't think it's just based off of dress and appearance. I think it's a much deeper issue that they're trying to achieve as well with these open ranks.
Really, go ahead.
I guess I agree.
As a cop, it's like, man, we do open ranks every freaking day. Well, we don't do open rank. Well, kind of we do. We have guard mount every day.
We have a formation every
Formation.
day.
There you go. Thank you.
But I haven't been in a unit in a while, so I remember like back in the days, we know that you're going to do guard mount at least once a month. At least once a month. And sometimes they throw you a curveball. You'll do 2 or 3 times a month, depending on the morale of the flight and how well they performed. If you had like a flight that always had a lot of issues, like bad uniforms, they would do multiple guard mounts. I remember one flight, we did guard mount for every day for 3 weeks because some of the folks' uniforms was jacked up. So anyway, I was going to say, I agree with Jess is like, I don't think it's just for uniform. I think it's just to put eyes on the airmen in the formation. And people get this idea, it's more than just security forces or any other career field that do formation. Like when you see people, sometimes people just come to work and they just go off in their little offices or cubbies or whatever and start working. And some supervisors don't even know their airmen at all. Like don't even know them. Like they're like, so-and-so had a baby. Who's that? Where they work? They don't know them. So this is a way to kind of like, I think, reverse the clock and go back and say, hey, like people are important. Let's set up a formation where you see them. Now, dress and appearance does have a factor in this because if you notice, like there were posts on different like retailer sites that sell uniforms that was like, hey, we have more service short sleeve shirts if you want to come in and get them to prepare for your inspection. Obviously, some retailers are making some money off of this, but how many people are running out to get their blues together? And then some people would say, well, why does it matter? Like, I hardly get to wear my blues. But it's a uniform requirement. You're supposed to have your blues. I mean, you get clothing allowance every day. I mean, every year. So there's no reason why you should not have a serviceable pair of service dress uniform, especially if you're a supervisor, because you go before that commander. I don't know how it is now, but back in the day, if your troop got in trouble, you was there with them and your service dress uniform.
Yeah, I think that's all squadron specific, if they still do that or not. But I haven't seen it a lot. In my opinion, getting back to standards, order and discipline has to do more with how we operate. We have been so concerned about the why, so people feel like they belong, then have to have a force where we are united.
Little bomb up there for that one. She's right. He's absolutely right. I think
so. It's like, so here's my question. So we do these open ranks, right? We do it one time. We see a couple of discrepancies. We tell them like, "Hey, Peterson, get your hair cut." When do we do the next one?
No, because I would tell Peterson, first of all, I would walk through my squadron as much as I can.
Right.
And then if I saw Peterson at 8:00 that morning, I would tell Peterson like, "Hey, what you doing for lunch? If you don't have anything for lunch, let's go get that haircut." Oh, Chief, I ain't got no money. Cool, I do. So let me know what you're doing for lunch, and then we can go. And then I'm gonna go back to the first line supervisor because I'm gonna be like, why you ain't doing this for your person? I've shown you the way. I've given you the example. So now you're going to do this for someone else. That is how I believe if you're going to address issues, it should be attacked. Because some people just don't know what to do. So you show them what to do, how to be. But by 12 o'clock, if Peterson's still sitting there and his neck hair and his back hair connected, pimp in, get in your car or get in my car and we're going to go get that haircut and we're going to have lunch together. And we're going to talk about like, hey, why did it take you so long? If you ain't got money, say that, but don't be embarrassed because you can't meet the standard and you're running around here looking like,
Yeah, I think just really the response that is most popular is, but I'm within regs. That's always the response that's most popular. Go ahead, Philly. I see you about to say something. Like, it don't matter what it is. It'd be like, oh, you need to get a haircut, but I'm within regs. Oh, you need to get new boots.
I had a conversation with my boss the other day about this. And, I don't know about y'all, but I grew up in the day where the tie goes to the supervisor.
Yeah.
In other words, if case in point, I show up to work and I got a pair of boots on, my supervisor says, hey, those boots are unauthorized. And I'm like, hey, AFI says blah, 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 blah. I don't have to take them off. Mm-hmm. And my supervisor says, well, I don't agree with you. You need to take them off. That's not my time to sit there and argue with the supervisor. You take them off, and then you go back, y'all go look at the AFI, and then you explain to them, or you go to the next higher authority. But I think a lot of people today, they be like, oh, I'm in regs. And that's supposed to be the end of the subject. Like, in the end, the tie goes to the supervisor. Now, some people may say, well, that's not right. Like, the AFI exists for a reason. I get it, but at the same time, your supervisor's there for a reason. You should assume, hopefully, that they are mature enough and skillful enough to say, hey, look, there's some pieces I'm missing in the AFI. And maybe I may not be as well-versed as you to notice the change that'll allow you to wear those boots. But until then, you need to take those off, and then I will research it later. And then if the supervisor goes back and they research it and they are indeed wrong, say, hey, look, so-and-so, my apologies, you are right. You are authorized to wear those boots. No harm, no foul.
But I think it comes to the relationships too. What I can honestly say, like, I enjoy like having females and males that will come and talk about it before they did it. And again, we're talking about like what you want to do. We're going over ways to help you do it. And that's what I enjoy as a leader. Hey, Chief, I want to get this tattoo behind my ear. Cool. What you trying to get? And then we'll talk about, hey, the importance of it, why you're getting it, and then they'll get it. Same thing with hair color. My thing is, like, because I do it. I will constantly support you if you give me all the facts and just teaching people like about the healthy care of whatever they're doing. I think that's the piece too. It's like, yes, we want people to explore all the standards within their rights, but how are you going to do it in a way where it doesn't come back and, number one, diminish you or diminish your mission set. The only thing, like you said, having that conversation to where it's not arguing, like that's why I said separate your neck and your back hair for a reason. Because for males, you have males that want to grow their hair out. Cool. If it's in regulation, do it. But the thing that a lot of people get when you look at males and growing their hair out, they look for that back in their neck hair because just give an appearance that, hey, it's in shape. People will leave you alone. But it is, again, we've opened the aperture so wide when we talk about what you're able to do. So instead of saying, like, I think some of us are so used to black and white where they don't have that level of creativity in them. So like, because they're not creative, they don't know how to help explain, to someone who is creative, this is how you can get it done.
Mm-hmm. So I guess like how far do we pull this, as you say, like close the aperture on this? Because if I do it at my unit, but it's not across the Air Force, then are we really moving anything? Or are we just supposed to start with what we can control and then just go from there? But it seems like it's just...
Yeah, you have it right there. Like this, when people say like, so-and-so from this other squadron is able to do it, so-and-so from this other wing at this other base can do it. I tell people all the time, like, I can't control what they do, but I can control what's in my house. So while I'm in my house, We're not doing that. Now, you can send me emails or show me video that they're allowed to do it, but as far as I'm concerned, in my house, that's not what we're doing. And I think I applaud General Wilsbach for what he's doing. I mean, like, I think maybe it's still time because people are like kind of caught off guard. And then people try to relate his message to why their perception of why people don't want to join the military or why they want to get out the military. I mean, I love these comments when they say, oh, that's why people don't want to stay in the military now. I'm glad I got my warm DD-214 blanket to snuggle up in. Well, I would say you guys are part of the problem. Uh-oh. Well, he must have got a dookie or something. I'm sorry, shut up. My bad. Anyway, real quick, so I'll just say, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Like, I think that's they're part of the problem. Like, if you are so resistant to somebody saying they want to ensure that everyone is upholding the standard, and somebody lays their gauntlet out and be like, from this point on, I'm going to hold you accountable and make sure they uphold the standard. Yes, you could look at it as, well, they should have did this before. Got it. But that doesn't mean there's no need to do it now.
It's almost what Faith said. Faith said earlier, like, we tore down the walls that were important for diversity, but I'm going to take it all the way back to Chief Master Sergeant Air Force Khalif Wright and General Goldfein. It's like you had people that were, I love their duo because if it needed to be addressed, they want to address the elephant in the room. Now, we've transitioned so quickly to where now a lot of people feel like, hold on, you about to tighten up the rope on us and you didn't give us a disclaimer or warning before. So a lot of people may be triggered when you just come out the gate and you're saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. And now being a part of the DD-214 club, I look at, especially like when I go on the gate, sometimes I'll be surprised because I don't be expected to be called chief, but some people be like, have a good one, chief. And I'll be like, oh, okay, well, thank you. You have a good day. But I find myself more so complimenting them for what they have going on with their dress and appearance. Like if I see a young male whose hair is faded or, he has his curls going on that's natural, I'm like, hey, you look, and I make them laugh because I'm like, look, you look clean, neat, and serviceable. Or then I see the females with their nails and their lashes and their hair, done right. I just think because we have so much going on, like when you look at the person, you just never know what a person is going through. So like your interaction with people should not be, I used to hate, and my very first sergeant said this during my retirement. I used to hate like learning after the fact what they did. So my superintendent used to always tell the first sergeant, did you see Jessica this morning? And she used to say like, hey, I just came in with my coffee. And then like, I would always have something. Like I remember that time I had those braids so big, but my hat was just sitting up there. And then she was like, oh, your hair looks nice. And I'm just like, Lord, here we go. But I just remember like, I got tired of, I didn't want that to happen a second time. So I would go home right after work and be like, you know what? I took them braids down. Like I had literally just got them done and I had took them down because I didn't want to deal with, them constantly watching me or in my face. But now you fast forward, you have people that will, they're like, you know what? I'm going to keep my braids. And I'm like, okay, cool. If it means going to work in your civilian clothes, bringing your lunch where you don't have to leave the building and you sit at your desk with your braids rolled up, do you, boo? Mm-hmm. All I'm asking is that be mindful that a lot of people are not going to perceive it as you perceive it, but there are ways around it. Mm-hmm. And I've seen people do it. I was guilty of doing it myself. I would go to work in civilian clothes, change in the bathroom for work, sit up there with my little cute hairstyle. And at the end of the day, I made sure I didn't leave that building though. Yeah. And I would change back into my civilian clothes and go right back about my business. But again, like, what is it that we have not given our people? Because we're talking about, like you said, DC, retention, recruitment. I remember stopping in Auburn on my way to Georgia at the Buc-ee's. But like, when you see how much people are getting paid, people are comparing it to like, why I got to stay here in these constraints when I can go out here and do these things.
Yeah. I think a couple things. First, Wembley said it's a lack of NCO development. I definitely agree with that. I think everybody's just worried about making rank and not worried about their duties and responsibility with making rank. They just want to make.
Good point too. It's just not the lack of NCO development. It's the lack of senior NCO
development.
Oh,
100%. 100%.
So like, it's a waterfall effect. So he's straight up. Like, it is an effect of like everything that has been a lack of, and this is the result that we're dealing with now.
Yeah. Shout out Chief Wooten. Shout out Chief Wooten. Shout out to Big 2 bombs for Big Chief Wooten. 3 bombs, 4 bombs. He gonna get mad I just did all that.
Chief Wooten.
He gonna get mad I did all that. But yeah, so I think there is a lack of NCO development. I think it's a lack, like you just said, Jess, a lack of everybody development. I don't think that oh man, that's gonna take another rabbit hole. But it's hard to develop people when you're not being developed. It's hard to put time into other people when nobody's putting time into you. And like you said, just a waterfall effect. Everybody's responsible for everybody. I think senior NCOs, remember, they work for their airmen. Senior NCOs work for their NCOs, and chiefs work for their senior NCOs. And so it's like trying to put that work into them so they can put work into others is very important to get done. But if we're not doing that, it's going to be hard to have these standards that we want to improve, and how we're going to do it, because it's going to be a big shock effect for a lot of people. And how it's going to be done is going to seem like wrong, and you're probably going to end up on somebody's Facebook page or Facebook post, and it's like, how do you get around that? Because a lot of people actually care about that stuff. And then you got a lot of leaders that say, don't worry about it, but they internally care about it. And it's like, how do you face that? Like, I don't want to be on somebody's bad post. I mean, that's got to be a shitty feeling, especially when people tell you about it. But some people just don't care. But the ones that do, they're like, oh, I don't want to say this because I don't want to end up on a post. Like, oh, you better not do that because you're not going to.
Post itself. I just shout out to Messa Sergeant Richardson. She's out in Georgia. She's a recruiter. I think she's over the marketing team. But what we talked about recently is having time. And one of those things that we also talk about time is going back to what you said. I don't like that people spend so much time on trying to get promoted that they're missing the pieces of what makes them a good person to be a great leader when they are promoted. So it's like, my job is to help you fill in those gaps, like you said, so that when someone does correct you based off of what you have tried to help someone else with, you're not taking it to heart to where it's a detriment of you. Like, I used to always hate when someone is coming to me to address a female issue. No, that's great opportunity for you to develop some callus and learn how to direct your feedback at that woman. Well, it's dealing with her uniform. Just be like, hey, it appears that your uniform is a little bit tight. I just want to make sure that you understand, like, there is ways so that your uniform complements your body. You ain't said that she was fat.
Wait, Jess. If I say that to a specific woman and we don't have that type of relationship where I can say something like that, her comment could be, well, why are you looking at me like that?
I'm looking at you like that because, again, based off of the regulation, our uniform top is supposed, I said, bottom line, the best way to make sure your uniform fits properly is that your top is supposed to cover that top part of your pocket. Hey, I just don't want you to be walking around and then people start talking about your uniform. And then again, it comes back. Those healthy conversations start with me. Yes, I am the opposite sex, but me being the opposite sex does not negate the fact that, hey, I don't want people to keep bomb rushing you with the same issues. So you belong to us. You belong in our squadron. Again, I hate being a female and I had to address dudes. A lot of the time would be like, hey, I've had a dude tell me once, you're an attractive female. And if you say something to a guy, they're going to think that you're automatic or you're trying to sweet talk him. I said no, because number one, I'm a jokester. Number two, I'm going to let him know hey, I'm not trying to hit on you. But I told one of my NCOs, I said, look, I don't know what's going on with you, but I said, your uniform look like you've been outside rolling on the concrete. I said, I have the extra set. They were donated to me. If you need them, I will bring them tomorrow.
Yeah. Shout out, speaking of people who roll around in their uniform, to Philly DC when he came up to the exercise. It looked like he got mortar attacked before the exercise kicked off. So shout out Philly DC doing that big bomb for him. Go ahead, Philly. You've been quiet.
In a mess.
Is that supposed to be funny?
That was funny. Hey.
No, it really wasn't funny, to be honest with you.
You remember the exercise that you rolled up to? It looked like you got attacked, and we were
Yeah,
all worried about you.
I remember it well, but
We're like,
what is the relevance in this conversation?
because you're talking about the uniform, it looked like you just rolled out of bed, and when you came up to the exercise, we were all worried about that you got attacked. Like the exercise ain't even kicked off yet. We just got recalled. Like
Now you being nice, rolling out the bed is wrinkled. Like, no, my dude he looked like he had rolled out on the concrete. It had almost gone from the uniform.
Yeah, Philly looked like he got mortar attacked and then got beat up. I was like, man, what happened?
Because I'm a veteran. That's why I'm a veteran.
He said he was under the impression that you.
Hey,
oh, go ahead.
Wes, you don't need to talk. Wes, be quiet, headquarters. You be quiet, bro.
Hey, shout out West Lawrence.
Big ass head. Be quiet, bro.
Serving our country now. Yeah,
my bad.
Serving our country now, right?
I know his head is sweating, big as that dome is. I know he's sweating, boy. You know, it's funny with Wes, man. I know I'm getting off topic real quick. Let me talk about Wes, man. Wes is a good dude, man. He used to be my troop back in the day. I know he'll tell people the story all the time. He walked in the office and saw me put lotion on my feet. After gym, it was after gym, but hey, look, I'm an authentic person. Look, I'm not gonna sit there and like hide. Look, you come walk in my office. If I put lotion on my feet, I just got out the gym. You know, I don't want to have ashy feet. You know, shoot. But shout out to Wes, man. You know, this is good conversation for him because he's going out to be the SEL for the Security Forces Technical Training School. And I would say publicly, shout out, congratulations to Wes Lawrence, because I think he's the perfect person for the job. He's a very motivating person. And at the same time, I think he has his reputation for season. So I think he's shout out to him. But to what y'all was saying, there's a lot of things we can pull the thread on when it comes to this, man. And let's see. Enlisted development is supposed to preclude promotion. Not the other way around, but the great promotion giveaway didn't drive leadership development. Hence, NCOs didn't get what they needed. And the giveaways motivator was retention and filling the gap in frontline, supervised, not developed. Shoot, we now have people who stayed but never learned. The goal now has to be to educate and empower. Hey, shout out. Hey, I'll give you a bomb. So here's my thing. Like, I agree with all y'all points. I agree with y'all points. I do agree that folks today concentrate more on promotion than development, and development of others, more importantly. But we are all guilty of this when you think about it. Like this, it's more than just the military. The social culture has groomed or caused folks to believe that getting forward faster is the most important thing. Don't forget about the experience. Forget about the experience. Forget about the struggle, the adversity. It's how fast can you get to the end and no more importantly, before somebody else. When you got people getting online and I'm my favorite. And hey, to folks who hear this, don't take this personal. This is just my opinion. For folks who get promoted and say, hey, I've only been in 6 years and now I'm a chief master sergeant. You know, it was a hard journey, but I made it and I deserve. Oh, my favorite, somebody used to Snoop Dogg one and said, I would like to thank me for blah, blah, blah. I would like to thank me for blah, blah, blah. So my thing is this, in my opinion only, if you think what you're saying is motivating, it is not. I think that's part of the problem.
It is not.
To me, the key is when you get promoted, when we say, promotion comes. Like Tony B. Gooch said it perfectly. He says it's timing, and I agree. It's timing. Just because you don't get promoted, and I agree, somebody's going to say, it's easy for you to say you're a chief. Hey, last I checked, I had to go through the board and test for every single stripe I had. Shout out, what's up, Samel Brown?
I appreciate you using the money sign for me.
Every single stripe, man. Every one. And trust me, I didn't make every rank the first time. It was usually the second time. And the first time I missed chief by 5 points, it crushed me. But I would tell you the next year, I learned a lot of stuff that helped me become and be prepared to be a chief. So I'm not saying that folks that get promoted the first time is not ready. I'm not saying that. But I will say for folks out there who judge success by making it how fast they can get there, that's part of the problem. And going back to what General Wilsbach said, we have folks in the formation that are not enforcing the standards. It's not just the NCOs or the senior NCOs or the CGOs or the FGOs, and frankly, I would even throw in the GOs too. We all are responsible. Every single one of us. Every time we change the AFI, every 3-4 months, and we don't get any input from the field or from the folks who's got to enforce it, every time a change comes out and it gets pushed on Facebook and the folks that's got to enforce it don't hear about it, every time when somebody complains about the standard, we change it, and then there's no analysis on if it's worth it. Just because Chief Counsel believes that instead of having buttons on the uniform, we should have a zipper, don't mean it needs to change. Sometimes the standards it is what it is. And then, I don't know if you put Faith comment up there about diversity and inclusion.
Yeah.
Man, this is my opinion. There were a lot of changes the Air Force has made. So we tore down walls that were important for diversity and inclusion, but in the process, we lost some of the traditions. I agree 100%. There are a lot of changes we made that was good for folks in uniform to feel more connected to who they are. But I think we've gone way far past the pendulum, like to the right in the pendulum, to the point where it's not about, who are you? I am a military member in the armed forces. It's not like that anymore, in my opinion. Now it's like, this is what I want to do. If I can't do it, then why am I even in uniform? In my opinion. People have lost the point. And then when people say, okay, well, we're having a hard time recruiting folks. It's easy for me to say, oh, well, because for the stuff we're trying to do, especially for GPC, we need more people, right? Well, now it's starting to become quantity over quality. Like, I want people who are invested in uniform. Because when the flag goes up, I don't want people worrying about, oh, man, I got to shave my beard because I want to put a gas mask on, or I can't have my this is how my beard grows, not this side. Or, I'm sorry, let me stop picking on the folks with beards. Like, shout out for all the beard warriors out there. I'm with
beard
you.
warriors. Don't start a trend, beard warriors.
But all I'm saying is when the flag goes up, there is a level of dedication and discipline and professionalism that's going to be needed to be able to carry out whatever our nation needs us to do in order to get after our goals. And we can't be worried about individualism. And I think in some case we've gone to individualism. And I think this is the first stage of trying to figure out how to reverse that. Are we going to be able to do it? I don't know. But at least we're trying to start.
You know what's crazy? You just brought me to, we did a first hour panel for FTech. It was now FTech, now it's called FTech. But basically the first term airman.
What,
yeah.
Enlisted something center? First term enlisted center? Something
Sure.
Like
It's anyway, but so of course we start off introducing ourselves, and then one of our senior shirts we like to open up a question to y'all. Like, y'all have questions for the first time, like what we do, who we are, anything that we can help out. This dude raised his hand. He said, "How can I get a beard waiver?" I promise you, first question, how do I get a beard waiver? I was like, damn, like that's what's on your mind? He's like, yeah, like I'm Jewish and I want to get a beard waiver. I was like, well, shoot, okay, let's open up this can. But this is what's on their mind. It's not like, you maybe wouldn't ask the first sergeant, like, what can I do to be better at my job? Anything like that. It was just like, basically, how do I get a beard waiver? Very first question. So I think as we talking about shifting the pendulum for standards, it's hard to shift people's mindset. And I think we had a conversation about like, what does it mean to be an airman anymore? What does airmanship mean? Is there any definition to what it is anymore? Or I don't think it's a term we use anymore, like airmanship. I haven't heard that in forever. Maybe
do y'all believe the core values are still relevant?
Just I'm looking at you.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that because I know you guys do. But do you think our airmen today firmly believe in the core value?
I think some of them do wholeheartedly. And the reason why I say that, I wanted to, Tech Sergeant release recently happened. We got to see a lot of people get promoted to Tech Sergeant, but I do want to shout out one young lady that's down there in San Antonio. Her name is Robin Dean. So I met Robin and she scored in the high 90s and she still didn't make it. Jesus. But what I mean, like airmanship, that girl is still out there supporting other people and she's still about that business. She used to be a prior air traffic controller and now she's education and training. What I love about her is that she did not make it, nor is she sitting, like, you know how we all are when we don't make it. And I had to tell, it took me 3 times to make tech, but we're still learning and trying to see what we can do better. That motivation is there. I think when you have people like her and she's surrounded by other people, that influence is going to be heavy. So when you think about her and, hey, she scored very high. When I tell you homegirl put in the work, she is a true epitome of when we say, if you're afforded an opportunity, I'm going to put in 100% of my effort. And she did that. But then you had people outside of the bubbles like, girl, I would be mad. I'm like, why you mad? You did your thing. You have now earned something. Like I told her, once you read those books that are about the enterprise, you're untouchable when you do make it there because you already know how it's supposed to be. When we incorporate the human element, that's what dilutes the system. And then that's when you get all these other issues. But to me, that's the epitome of airmanship. We have it. It exists. It's just about who are those outliers who may not like her level of influence. Like she understands her level of influence, but it's like, how do we protect someone like her and make sure that influential experience is not chipped away at people who may be envious or jealous? To me, that is that airmanship that exists out there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. People are very envious and jealous. Jess, you said something earlier in DC. You kind of said the same thing about people making rank fast. And Jess, you also said about money on the outside. I guess 2 different comments, but along the same lines, or questions along the same line. Do you think we should get rid of putting line numbers on people's certificates when they make rank? Because I think people look at it, and if you have a low line number, the first thing they say is, oh, you must have been in the military a long time or at that rank a long time. If you got a high line number, first thing says like, oh, you must be a fast burner. So you think it would help anything if we just took the line numbers off? Like we just didn't have line numbers?
No.
Not at all?
No, it's the mentality. It's even if you take the line numbers off, people are going to still know. I mean, you can almost look at some people and be like, damn, bro, you're a tech sergeant? Like,
see, but when you say comments like that, like, damn, bro,
I'm just saying, that's what they're thinking.
No, that's the problem is. That's the problem right there.
That illustrates that hammers home my point. It is a mind shift, or it's going to be a shift for people. We've got to find ways, and I think it comes from folks who are senior in rank, who's been around a while, to try to continuously encourage people or influence people. Like, it's not about how fast you make it. Be more focused on you being more experienced, more mature, more professional, more disciplined to walk in that rank versus how fast you make it. I would rather walk in the rank late and be prepared than walk in the rank and falter.
But how do you tell somebody
the other narrative too is people will say, oh, like, here's my favorite. I was talking to a chief the other day. I'll say, shout out to Dan Robinson, man. Fire chief out there. Shout out to that dude when I was in England, man. We had a good conversation, man. He was talking about his challenges. He was saying, like, people will go up to him and be like, yo, you ready to be a command chief? And he'd be like, hell yeah, I'll do it, right? And then some people frown on it and say, oh, you think you can do it? What makes you think you can do it? You ain't been a chief that long. Like, let's be honest. All of us, most competitive folks or confident folks would say, like, hey, DC, do you think you can be president of the United States? Like, shit, yeah, excuse my language. Heck yeah, I can do it, no problem. But in my mind, like, bro, are you serious? Heck no, you can't do it. But I'm not going to sit there and say I can't do it. But realistically, I know that I am not prepared to walk in that position. Just like if you ask me, could you be Chief Master of the Air Force? Yeah, I can do it. But that don't mean I should do it. I'm not equipped right now professionally to be able to do it. I could do it. I would struggle. I would have some speed bumps and pitfalls, but I can do it. So that's the difference between, like, when people say, oh, well, yeah, you're a tech sergeant, bro, you just now made it. Let's just get that out the way. The fact of the matter is, this dude, you don't know him or hers or their walk. You don't know what they went through to get to that rank. So what? They made tech at 16 years, but they probably more than ready. Maybe they may be more than ready. How about you judge them on their action or their professional works before you just assume because they've been in 16 years, they had some issues in their career. That's why they made tech so late.
But you know what I do love about the hidden gem of people that do make rank late is that they have groomed people that went on to out promote them and they're still connected to them. It's like that again goes to show like their heart is in it. I'm not saying all, I don't want to make that generalization, but some of them have the heart to where they truly believe like when it's mine, it's my time and I'm going to receive it when it's mine. So I think that's the bigger piece when we go back to the core values. Like, yes, the core values are there, but you still have people that have their other values, traditions, and beliefs that support what they're doing in their uniform.
I agree. And I know we've been on this topic for a while, but I mean, there's so many threads you can pull from this, man. I guess for me, I am concerned. I am concerned. Like I said, I applaud General Wilsbach for what he's doing. And I shout Dave Wolf, too, who's his command chief over at ACC. I know he feels strongly about it, too. But we need to get out our feelings and just address the elephant in the room. I think we have lost our way in so many ways. We have. Hold on, Samel Brown. You know what, though? I love it. You know what, though? Are the haters concerned with line numbers of those that are truly performing at that next high grade? You know I love Samel, bro. That dude, you know what, though? Shout out to Boston Celtics for winning, too. Even though they suck, man. I hate Boston. But anyway. So let's see.
I like the other comment that Sincere gave. People gave up morals.
Oh,
yeah. I agree. I agree with that, too. Let's just call it for what it is. This is ugly. Like when I've got, we talked about this before in the show. Like if Jessica walked in my establishment and I check her ID card as a chief, there is a certain transformation that takes place, if that's the correct word. Like in other words, like Pete walks in, he's just some regular dude. I'm going to still give him good customer service.
I appreciate that.
But when Jessica walks in as a chief, especially if I'm a young troop or NCO, this is my chance to shine. Like, yo, this dude, this girl's chief. Hey, I'm going to make sure I'm going to take real good care of her. Now, I'm going to take care of Pete, even though he ain't nobody.
Appreciate
I'm going
to
really take care of this chief. And it's not about kissing up. It's professionalism. When you go out into a 5-star restaurant, if Dana Council walks in and I'm paying money for a 5-star restaurant, they're going to take care of me. I guarantee if you have somebody like Jason Tatum walking there, they're going to roll out the red carpet because it's like, this is Jason Tatum. He's an NBA star. He's got thousands of followers. Plus, if he's here, maybe his friends will come back. It just amazes me how people think like, oh, there's so much disparity. The people who are higher ranked, they get away with stuff. It's not about getting away. There's certain things that you can be expected that they are going to happen. The key is if it's not, that is not being abused. That's the whole key. But again, for General Wilsbach, man, I applaud him for what he's doing, man. I just wish people would just get out their feelings. Get your service dress uniform ready. Tell your troops to bring their shaving waiver if they got it. If you've got a legit shaving waiver, don't feel bad about it. Don't be afraid to show it. So what the AFI says you ain't got to bring it. If you legit, bring it. JC, what's up? What's up? Yo, shout out to JC. She was my medical group chief when I was in TM. Yo, she kept me on point all the time. Trust me, if I got it wrong, she would tell me. I tell you, she was a firecracker. And you should treat all as a general or chief. Now, I agree with that, but I'm just saying the reality of the situation. In a perfect world, that's what should happen. But we don't live in a perfect world. If a gate guard is at the gate and a regular person comes through the gate, they're supposed to give them superior service.
Here's the problem.
General walks in, let me finish. When the general walks in, you can expect that their smile's going to be a little bit wider. they're going to be a little bit more professional, not because they're trying to get a coin, maybe that's part of it, but also because they want to make sure their interaction with them is professional. Because let's be honest, the other thing to factor in too is when you meet people, there's an opportunity to shine. What do they say? What's that one saying? They saying you only get one chance to make a good impression.
Amen.
It happens all the time. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
So look, I hear what you're saying, but your point about maybe they'll get a coin, that is what people hold value to of why they want to do better for chiefs or better for generals or better for commanders, which then depletes the point of doing it. Because if I know I'll do a good job for Pete, who's just some rando that just comes in the gate, there's a high probability that Pete is not going to call the commander or going to call the chief and be like, this airman at the gate was really sharp. He really gave me good customer service. He did, I'm just using the gate, but he helped me out or whatever. And if I do, it's not going to have a lot of third order effects behind it. And then you can flip it on the other end. If Pete calls up chief counsel, is like, yo, man, like, hey, this is what happened to your gate guard. Like, man, who the heck are you? Oh, I'm whatever, Sergeant Peterson, I work over here. Be like, oh man, all right, appreciate it. We'll look into it. Whereas if I'm General Wilsbach and I come through the gate and call chief counsel, whether good or bad, the third and fourth order effects behind it are a lot greater. Good end and bad end. So people do put on this pretend faces, pretend persona for these individuals for those third, fourth order effects. So
I think it depends on the person. So I would say when I had first made it to Tyndall, I had my airman, his name was Gregory Klein. And I just have to say, George Klein. Klein rolled up on me, I was doing my immersion, walking through the unit, and Klein was like before he said anything else to me, he was like, oh my God. He said, you have a beautiful smile. He said, what kind of toothpaste you use? And I'm just like,
toothpaste?
Oh, No. But what I love about it is that he was like, pimping, you just like me. Like, hey, how you doing? He said, I love your teeth. He said, what kind of toothpaste you use? And then we just, like, when I tell you, I would go to that dude for any like transparent, authentic, raw decision. And he was an A1C. I would always go down there to Klein. I remember when Klein was tapped to go to Honor Guard, and he owns a shaving waiver. And I would see his face, but he was like, Chief, I'm going to just let it grow out. But will I still be able to go to Honor Guard? I said, absolutely. When I tell you he went over there to Honor Guard and shined and then eventually let it grow out and he was in standards, I'm like, that's what it is. Like, that is what it means to truly pour into someone who wants it. But two, they already got it. It's just helping them bridge, like zip it up just a little bit so that they can go into the person that they want to become. But I believe that some people, that's what I'm telling you, Pete. You need to go see that movie Inside Out. Like,
I got you.
Too. It's like, and I'm not gonna do a spoiler, but it's almost like you get to see the complexities of how each person is when they're trying to display their emotions in this uniform. Like I always tell people, and I learned through going to school for counseling, that feelings are not facts. But because feelings are not facts, we are supposed to afford people an opportunity to be vulnerable, like offer a vulnerable space so that people can learn how to effectively, because there's no right or wrong, but effectively learn how to process their emotions when they're going through things. I think when we talk about diversity and inclusion, that is also a piece that we forget. Everybody has trauma. Everybody is like, just because you graduate and walk across that parade field, like their trauma ends. Their trauma does not end. You have to help people figure out what their triggers are so that once they know what their triggers are, they're able to then give you their excellence. And that's why you talk about coins. I travel with my coins in my car now because I need to pass all them jokers out. But I always tell people, like, know that you are a good person. You are going to be in positions where it's our job to make sure that you get better so that you can always give your best. That's the piece. We don't always give people opportunity, again, because of first impressions. But as you mature, you learn. For each person that you have, you're supposed to treat that person as if it's a brand new issue. Yep, Pete was late paying his rent last year. Okay, today is January. Pete got a 30-day notice he overdoing that military star card. I can't, as an effective leader, I'm not bringing up when he was late on his rent. I need to focus on right now. I'm acting like this is the first time all over again. I think that's, again, that depletes the effectiveness of some people, because you're keeping this catalog or Rolodex of all these memories of this person that you're not affording them the opportunity to come in and have those moments to where it's brand new. Every instance that you have with a person should be brand new all over again. So then people are like, how do you know to cut that person off? I truly believe, again, if you have a value-based system, your decisions, your actions, and your behaviors are the ones that you need to account for. I can't worry about what that other person's stuff is going to be, but based off of my value system, I need to make sure that I'm treating you as if this is the first time all over again, so that I won't be frustrated, so that I won't give you the wrong, how can I say it, recommendations for decisions to make with your life.
Go ahead.
No, I have no comment, man. I think what she said, what Jess is saying. No, seriously, it makes
your vacation.
I'm good. What's that? Correct. Just the Lord bless us for a new day. We are to bless others with opportunity to prove and guide them. Yeah. I think that's the difference between us and other militaries in the world. I guess maybe our competition is like, I think it's a good and bad thing. The good thing is like we strive to take care of our people. All volunteer force, right? We understand that every soldier, sailor, Marine, airman, guardian, coastie is different. And so in order to better not just lead them, but to develop and grow them, is that you've got to be able to understand who they are and that they have their own story. I find probably the best ones that go on and they become great, whether they be enlisted an officer or even a civilian, is that they have supervisors that took good care of them and they understand who they are. Whereas, our competition, they're all focused on one thing, whatever their regime wants. But I will say the negative for us is that I think we have to find a way to bridge that mentality and the mentality of what are we here for as far as folks in the uniform. We're here to defend the country. And in some cases, there are some things you're going to have to let go or give up in order to do that. And I think in some ways, we have lost that. And I will tell you from my perspective, it concerns me for the future because there's going to be a level of adversity and there's going to be some grit that's going to be needed in order to for us to be able to do our job when our country asks us to do it. I was watching something the other day, and we're talking about the enlistment numbers. They were talking about all the services, with the exception of the Marine Corps, will miss their target recruiting date or recruiting numbers for 2024. They said, let me pull it up so I quote it correctly. From what I read, as far as recruiting numbers, we are the lowest we've been since 1940. And then if you've caught all of the SRB discussions, security forces shop, if you want to be a defender, too bad it doesn't apply to us anymore. $15,000 bonus. The writing's on the wall. They need more people. You go across the formation, they always like, you're doing more with less, mission-ready airmen, yada, yada, yada. But I think sometimes, man, we got to remember, whether you like it or not, the military is not Apple, it's not IBM, it's not Tesla. It is an institution that is designed for war fighting. That doesn't mean we disregard people, but let's not forget the end-all goal is for war fighting.
So what happens when there's no war to fight? Then what are we?
Oh, there'll always be a war.
No. We ain't been in a war in 20 years.
No. Yes, we are.
No, we ain't.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for that. I tried to correct them earlier. Bro, because it's not. There's been a war everywhere.
There's different attacks that,
I'm saying we are more in the preventative war fighting company or time, active war fighting. We're just preventing stuff right now.
Bro, you
Wait. Are we out there fighting war? Sure we are. We have people out there fighting wars, West Lawrence, out there in the Middle East. But it's really just
he ain't fighting no war. He out there.
You see what I'm talking about? You see what you say? Go ahead, Jess.
What Aisha New put up there. She just put a comment. Her last comment.
Yep. Too busy being at war with ourselves.
Yeah. Hey.
Competing, putting down that we're missing a mark on certain aspects when we talk about like the different wars. I always talk about the calm background because that's what I was when I first came in, and I'm still connected to some of those people. They are fighting those cyber attacks on a daily basis. And I hate to say it, but everything we do is centered around social media. I will comment. This is an initiative by a nonprofit, I want to say, but it's called Project 2025. When you go read that document, and then you look at what is amongst us right now, and you talk about the recruiting numbers, not being able to meet the goal, it's a lot of people are just trying to figure out like what you got to look at the generation. What is in it for me? When you have so much that is going on around us, I go back to who's going to replace the people that are currently serving. So then you look at, regular citizens, and then you look at high school students. I could tell you from my SkillBridge opportunity, like I used to tell those kids all the time, they are not ready to serve nobody's military mentally or physically. And I think so many people are preparing for a physical war that they're forgetting it is mental. You talk about grit and determination, and most people don't have it right now. People are folding under pressure left and right. And it's like, at what cost? How many times are we not going to address those elephants in the rooms? Like academically, you have a lot of people not meeting their recruiting goals because students don't know the information to pass the ASVAB. So then you go back and be like, yo, what really happened during COVID? Same thing that's happening to some of our first-term airmen that are currently serving. Some career fields are upset because some of their people can't pass their CDCs of end of course. Think about that era. They didn't have tests. So now you're asking people to engulf in something that they never had to do, and they're struggling with it. What are we doing to help those people that's going to struggle? Because you're still passing them on. They're still going to be somebody else's supervisor, but we're never addressing the root issue. That's why I learned and I heard, like, we are rich in data, but we are poor when it comes to decision making. That is our biggest thing in the military. Like, we'll research everything all day. We'll bring in RAND, but it's like, what are we doing with all of this data besides repeating the same stuff over and over and over again? The decisions need to be made.
Yeah. It's Samel, I shot you the link, so let me know if you got it so you can get on and join the corner as anybody else can as well.
I'm on vacation too.
Yeah. I hope not. He better not be coming on with a nice beach background or whatever. Hold on, here he comes right here. Ladies and gentlemen, coming live. The unpopular celebrities. Samel Brown. Man, why you sitting there?
Hey, yo, because you never know when things might jump off. So, you never know when it might jump off, yo.
Got the full beard out there.
I got the wife beater going, yo, straight up, just in case things get a little serious, yo. Because sometimes Philly GC, you know what I'm saying? He get a little wild, man. So sometimes I might have to just show up a little bit with my little wife beater on, yo.
So man, I had this form. I went practicing this week. I shot a 40, and then he was like, "Hold on, you missed the woman." I said I was supposed to miss the woman.
Yo, man, I'm saying, but he expects so much from someone who does so little.
Oh, damn. Hey.
He does so little. Straight up. He does so little. Hey, Philly. So you see I got on my Boston Celtics hat.
Man, take that trash off.
You see I got my hat on. You see I got my championship hat on just in case, you know what I'm saying? Folks want to know what this looks like.
Samel, what your shoes look like, though?
Hey, yo, I got on some Crocs right now. Hey, yo, straight up Mickey Mouse joints, too.
Not the Mickey Mouse joint.
Yo, I got the Mickey Mouse joint, son.
But what else, man? What's going on with you?
Yo, man, just, doing what I do, man. I just got my blessing at church, man. Came home, and we got some family in town, so I'm home just for a little bit. Had to take the dogs out, and I'm gonna go out to the beach, chill for a little bit, man. But you know, I had to get up here with you guys for a little bit. Last time you guys was on the corner, man, I got kind of somebody tried to poke me in the eye from long distance, talking about, yo, I thought you was gonna get on the show. So I said, yo, even if I'm only out for a little bit, even if I'm only out for a little bit, yo, I say, yo, let me go out here with my peoples, man. Yo, JP is my girl, man. I love me some JP. You know, I always, and I'm glad my wife don't be watching this, man. But I always told myself, man, I say, I wanted to marry a Delta. I always wanted to marry a Delta. So JP's my surrogate, yo.
Bruh.
They're trying to treat me like them people that be in the theme park with them kids with them little leashes. Come here.
Right.
Doing too much.
That's very crazy.
I just want to say, hey, is Alpha watching this? I hope not.
He always does.
Yeah. The bell got the
no disrespect, fam. No disrespect. No disrespect.
There.
Look at DC.
No disrespect.
I'll be stuck.
JP's my girl. JP's my girl.
Hey, put your hat back on.
He probably started sweating underneath there.
That's what it is.
It's getting hot up in here.
The Dio hat. Don't take your shirt off.
Talk about West over there and sweating. Now he over there sweating.
Right. But Samel, what you want to talk about? You look like you want to say something.
Nah, man. I'm just here for, just for the fellowship, to be honest, man. I wanted to come on and laugh with you guys for a little bit. But I can definitely jump in, man. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm telling you, real quick, Pete, before you get started, right? Club DD 214 is popping, right? It's lit, bro. I'm telling you, I love being retired, man. And I'm not to say that, the issues and problems and the things that, that we deal with today in our United States Air Force are any different from when I was coming up as a young'un, because it's all relative based on time. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that when I was a young airman doing the knucklehead stuff that I was doing, that them cats wasn't looking at my generation saying, yo, these cats don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all relative, because time doesn't stand still, man, as we continue to develop, as we technology, as we advance. People think differently, we move differently. In the military, I don't say we have to, embrace all of that as far as change, but a lot of it we have to, So do I have my opinions? Absolutely, man. But I'm telling you, first and foremost, man, DD 214, Club DD 214 is lit. I love not having to deal with a lot of the nonsense that's going on these days. You know what I'm saying? And I transitioned out at the perfect time when I was supposed to, and I'm just so fortunate.
Yo, shout out to you for transitioning out when you was ready to go on your terms and not anybody else. So shout out to that. Real quick, I gotta ask you though, do you think the military is at war?
Yo, P, I think you're on an island by yourself, P.
Not by myself.
I think you're on an island by yourself. Yo, straight up. But are we at war right now? No. Right? Are we at war right now? No. We got presence in multiple different countries internationally, right? So we're posturing and positioning, you know what I'm saying? But we can never forget, right? When you think about dying, right? You guys heard of the term dying before, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the instruments of power that the United States wields to make sure that we are superior to everybody. And when you look at the M, which is the military aspect of that, whether we look at that or not as being ready, in war, we have to be ready for war. So I think, in my opinion, what we do, horribly, is we come to work and we go 7:30 to 4:30. We get weekends and holidays off. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That is an amazing thing. It's awesome. But I don't think that we all understand that we're war fighters. You know, I don't think it's a job versus a commitment. You know, I think, in my opinion, again, I took stock and I took it so it was so important to me, the unlimited liability clause. And I've shared this with you guys on this platform before. Unlimited liability clause is different from, like you said, IBM, Facebook, Meta, you name a Fortune 500 company. Unlimited liability clause is understanding that at the moment's notice, when you get the call, you can go to war and have to lay down your life. Are we ready to do that? You know, I mean, we're having conversations about folks hating on others who get promoted. We're a war fighting force. And we're talking about stuff like that. And that's why I ask, is this a leadership issue? Is it a management issue? Or is it a no issue? You know what I'm saying? Because we're a war fighting force. I understand that that's some of the things that we go through from time to time. Well, I won't say time to time. It's a reality that we have to contend with, is personalities, people feeling that they were slighted, that they should be in this person's position versus this person. You're going to have that regardless if you're working at McDonald's or you're working at Apple. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, but the difference between both of those jobs and what it is that we do is, if you outrank me and we're in Afghanistan and you tell me to do something, I ain't got no time to be hating on them stripes on your sleeve, bro. I got to do what you told me to do. So to answer your question, are we at war? Right now, we're not at war. We're not in Vietnam. We're not in World War II. We're not talking about Germany. We're not talking about, you know, is North Korea about to pop off. But guess what? We got to be ready for each and every one of those. So if we got a mind state that we're just 7:30 to 4:30 and we're not war fighters and we're not combat heroes waiting to just jump into it and get ready, then that's part of our problem. You know what I'm saying? Is the thought process. Because how are you going to shift that strategy? How are you going to get there? You know, so P, I think you're on the island of your own, man, with respect to, you know, war fighting, because I don't think it's just being at war. I think it's also readiness to go to war. And if you don't think like that, then when the time comes, what you gonna do? Right. How you gonna get folks motivated? That's way too late, man. That's way too late.
Yeah. Love, respect your opinion. Jess, I got that ready whenever you're ready for it.
Okay. So Mel, you bring up a good point, especially when we talk about the readiness, getting people ready. And I think that's the piece that we're missing, because that, you know, it always was a signal to me when my people had their backpacks like ready to go, like their ass was go Diego go or Dora to Explore. I'm like, why is your backpack already on your back and it's not even 4:30 yet? It always made me lean in more to those flights to determine, like, yo, why are you always ready to go? And honestly, that was an indicator to me that something is not going right in this flight, because it's not that you didn't, you know, have anything else after work. It was honestly because some of the things that was going on internally that hasn't been addressed. So that readiness piece, to what you were saying, especially in the dime, it's so crazy you talk about dime, because my aunt talked to me about that before I even joined the military. She was like, this is what you need to understand about joining the military. You know, even in the military, you're not going to be first in nothing that you do. So you going into this, you got to understand that we are never first. We're looked at as an afterthought. And not that it's bad, but she's saying you do everything else so that everybody else can have privileges and rights. And that's when I started to think about it. Even when I became a chief, I used to get caught up and be like, man, I made this strike, but it's like, it ain't for me again. And it took me all the way back then to that conversation that she gave me. She was like, you're going to be uncomfortable. And I remember when I started to get like IG complaints and EO complaints against me, she was like, if you don't have complaints against you, that means you're not doing something right. And at those times, I used to feel like ostracized, because it's like, yo, I give so much time and commitment to something that was trying to strip me apart. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, my position here is to make sure that we are ready and prepared, more so mentally. I just always focus that where it's easy to work out and get people, you know, in physical shape. But when you're dealing with people that have so much trauma, they're broken, it's like, I've learned people will lie to you over and over again, because somewhere in the past, they have told somebody the truth. And whoever they told the truth to, that person disappointed them. So they're like, why would I and tell you my whole story when you're going to end up disappointing me too? So that's why I used to always tell my people, like, yo, afford me the opportunity to disappoint you. I'm not like the people that you've had in the past. Like, I'm Jessica. Sure. Allow me to be Jessica, who just so happens to be whatever my rank and position was at that time.
100, yo.
Billy.
100.
I thought we was putting something up on the screen.
I'll wait for Jess.
Samel, you bring up a good point about the DD Club.
214 Club. Yeah.
I will share, this is transparency in a vulnerable moment that I had with my 2 older kids. So Pete is going to put up the screenshot, and then I'm going to talk about it. So I sent my kids this message to let them know, like, hey, you know, where I am with retirement, like there's so much free time. I don't know what to do, but it's going to be a lot. So then my oldest daughter proceeds to say, I'm happy that you're actually living your life now. Then my oldest son had the nerve to say the word free time is never heard from you. She said that part. Then I said, thank you. And I'm happy that I get to spend time with you all even more. Homegirl said her free time used to be bad time. So then I said, so Pete, you could take it off. That, like, letting them know how I was feeling, because a lot of people don't talk about this. When you first retire, it is an emotional, like, transition. You may not think it's going to be, but it's like when you go from that daily grind or always involved to, like, now I get to wake up when I want to, I get to, like, work out. It's like I have so much time to do for myself. When I say this, I am not explicitly saying like do anything, but things that I were not able to do before I joined the military. Like, I first tried it, and it's just on this side, it's like a whole new awakening. It's like I'm starting all over again, which is great, but it's like it's a whole nother world out here on the outside. And that's why I was telling them, like, hey, give me grace. Sometimes give me space, because I am gonna need it. Like, I am your mom, but just transitioning to being like a full-time active parent is so different than when you have to do it like from afar or in the military, because you're always trying to find how to make it mesh with the military. But now it's like, it's all us. It's all my time with you.
Hey, I can attest to that. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
Really quick transition to one thing. We had to talk about resiliency. And do you think resiliency is now just a term? And the reason I say that is we want people to be resilient. But in the society, in the world, what really do I need resiliency for? And the reason I say that, let me say this. Let's say I don't know how to talk to somebody. I can go on this thing called ChatGPT and ask them how I have a conversation with somebody, and it will spit it out to me. Say that my arm hurts. Instead of asking somebody or going to somebody, I just go on this thing called ChatGPT, tell them my arm hurts, and it'll come up with solutions. Financial troubles, whatever it is. Say that even this podcast, for example, I don't do a lot of editing. AI does all my editing for me. So when we say we want people to be resilient, we say we want
audience
people to
knows now. Pete ain't doing no work.
Don't make me come up and Mike Tyson his ass.
Right. I'm saying, like, what do we need to be resilient for? Are we just using that when people aren't resilient and we just want them to be? Do we really? Do young people, and most of y'all have kids? I think all y'all have kids. Young people, do they really need to be resilient, or will they just find the answer?
Let me give you a quick one. Let me give you a quick one, right? Because I think that's a real deep question, bro. But I think you have to compartmentalize it, to be perfectly honest, right? Because resiliency doesn't only apply to the military, right? If you just think about just what the word is all about, you know, it's having the mettle to overcome something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's just a buzzword, you know, but when you attach it to, you know, if I look at my kids and I say, okay, my daughters were born in Warner Robins, Georgia. They were raised the first few years of their life in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Then we moved to Hawaii, and they grew up in Hawaii. And at that age, they started to develop social relationships, which are super important as just human beings, right? And then you uproot them from there, and then you take them to Colorado Springs, you know, where they grow attached to a new social network, right? And then you got school. I mean, you just name it. So resiliency is a word that I would use to describe my kids as they're able to transition from each of those necks of the woods to the next and be able to integrate in, fit in, and just make the best of themselves despite what I had to go through back home in Providence, Rhode Island, where I grew up from birth until I bounced to the Air Force with the same people, not having to figure things out, understand I knew what my hood was, I knew where to go, where not to go. So when you think about resiliency, that word, yes, I think that word, you have to compartmentalize it because it can apply to so many different things. But I think where we use it in the United States Air Force is that word really became a strong word after September 11th. And a lot of these young cats don't even understand what being in the military during September 11th was, when we had folks that were doing back-to-back rotations over into Afghanistan and Iraq, you know what I'm saying, frontline type missions, outside the wire missions, staying away from their families, trying to figure out how they're gonna, you know, be at their kids' graduation, but they've got this deployment, you know what I'm saying? So they started using these coining these terms about resiliency, trying to make sure that we can keep pulse on our force and get them, you know, in the right state of mind. So I think that word has just carried, you know, it's carried. And I think a lot of people probably use it because it's a really cool word, you know, to say that I'm engaged with my people, you know, because, you know, we have to be resilient. But in practical terms, are we at war? Back to your original question. Are we going to Iraq and Afghanistan, bullets flying? No, we're over in them Gulf Coast countries over there, I mean, it's hot over there. I ain't gonna front, right? You know? Right. Yeah, I ain't gonna front. But at the end of the day, I think resiliency still applies, but I just think how we use it and when we use it, you know, it has to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Minimally used, you know, because I don't think it just applies carte blanche across the board because you're having a difficult day at work. You got to be resilient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It has to be used for meaning and not just.
Not just a buzzword.
Yeah.
My man. This guy. Yeah. And that's just one man's perspective, right? That's just one man's perspective. Someone can come on and have a better take than I did and say, yo, I totally agree with what you said, you know, and I would agree with their position, you know, if they said, no, I have an opposing position and here's why, you know, so it's just one person's perspective.
Yeah. So I'll say this, like doing my Skill Bridge, I think my military experience became very vital because I was able to talk with kids who really didn't understand that word resilient, but they were. Like around Mother's Day weekend, I had a cadet who actually lost their mom and their dad in the same weekend. So when you think about, and I'm talking about people that went to college to be teachers, and this is no flight to anyone, but what I do appreciate about the military is that they will train and educate you, which is two different things, but they afford you an environment to actually practice theory. I have seen so many people who are not able to practice the theory and have effectiveness as being a teacher. So like, I kind of took this young girl underneath my wing because it's like, yo, that's trauma. That is the ability to be resilient when you still getting your siblings up to make sure you come to school because you want to make sure you graduate. Then you have people that are homeless, but you would have never known she was homeless because she made sure when she came up there to that school, you couldn't tell. So when we talk about the things that we go through in the military, like you said, a bad day, I'm like, that is not being resilient. Take your ass home, take a good ass nap, and have a whole new day tomorrow. Facts. So what? It was a rough day. So what? Somebody said something that pissed you off. And that's what I used to always tell people. Like, once I learned the importance of words, I used to get so tired. Can you stop being aggressive or abrasive? Thank you for telling me I was assertive. I'll try again tomorrow. Like, those are the things that we need to be teaching our people instead of like internalizing everything that somebody is telling you. Because the higher you get, the worse it's going to get. Because you're still going to deal with people who have not developed emotionally. Yeah, you can develop and you can age all day. But that emotional state, sometimes you're still dealing with people who may be in their 40s or their 50s, but they're still a child. Their inner child overshadows their emotions, their decisions, and their behaviors every day because they have not healed that inner child that's into them. So that's what I mean with Samel. I agree. Like it's a very good question, but it's very deep. And I find it very hard when we have people that come into the military and you're trying to assimilate them to this new way of life. But help them build, help them close those wounds that they still have. Because if you don't help them close those wounds that they still have, they're not going to be as good as you're trying to make them be. And that's why so many people, I believe, have a bad day because, again, they have not effectively addressed the stuff that they had before they came in here.
Billy, what you got? Or you want to move on to your what the duck?
How much time we got?
We got enough time for your what the duck.
Oh, okay. Only thing I would add on that is the resiliency piece. I think, like, we've always had problems with resiliency. I mean, if you go back to like when you brought in like televisions and you brought in the internet, us guys stopped maturing that about stuff. Yo, who is this dude?
Oh,
Who is this dude?
shots fired, yo.
Anyway, no, real quick, like when you talk about resiliency, I mean, it's been written across. It's just gotten progressively more. It's just got progressively worse over time. I mean, there's always been questions of people using different things to kind of address the issues that they're going through. I mean, back in the early baby boomers days, before they had TV, they had radio, people would escape a radio. Then they would escape with TV. Then they came the PC. People started using the computers. And then the biggest change in as far as like, in my opinion, when it comes to mental health and resiliency is the invention of the phone. I mean, it's like the phone is the ultimate escape. And then not only that, I think it causes people to not address the issues they have in their life because what you do, you escape, you pick up a phone, you connect with somebody in India, you connect with somebody in France, look at how great their life is and be like, well, how can my life can't be like that? But the same person that you're looking at their life as perfect, their life is not perfect, they're just not posting it. And so therefore, if you are in a position where you're concentrating on what everybody else is doing, your mental health resiliency is decreasing because you're trying to get to a lifestyle that really you think is what is the benchmark, but it's really not. Correct. And so I think that's the key. And the thing is just going back to the original discussion with General Wilsbach. I mean, if you look at it, like that is ultimately the issue. It's like folks today are using other methods of escape versus what's in the reality now. And so we're all connected across the world in so many ways, but I think folks have found ways to not being able to be connected with themselves.
Good point.
Hey, Philly, real quick, Philly,
Yeah.
just 30 seconds, bro. When I was over at headquarters, PACAF, General Wilsbach was a 3-star, and he ran 11th Air Force over there. And I'm telling you, man, I mean, that's when General Brown was the 4-star for PACAF. So I was working a strategic project, and I had to brief both of them. General Wilsbach ain't no joke. You hear me? No nonsense. I seen him, I'm telling you, in SIPA meetings, bro, SIPA VTC, go up one side and down the other side of folks, bro. No nonsense, bro. ACC, get ready. Get ready. Whew, that man ain't no joke, bro.
Right,
Straight
you
up.
look like somebody scared of the man, like he the boogie monster or something.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Nah, bro, because no, ain't no scared. No, it's reality, bro.
Yeah.
It's the reality of the situation. What you saw ACC doing, that's just, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg, bro. You just wait and see. That man don't play.
We gonna keep this. Yeah, I like
I
that.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
so I'm going to
first of all-
share my screen. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Wait,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. I just want to put this up one more time because Philly about to do what the duck. Anything that comes from unpopular celebrities, all artificial. The conversations and comments from us and the guests represent DOD and all forces. Oh, Mel, I don't know what he might say. Jess, I have no idea what might come happen. So it's up there, Philly. Do your thing. I don't see your thing ready to go, but.
I'm not going to put it up until I announce it. So for any new users, any new listeners that listen to the podcast. So first of all, thank you for tuning in. So real quick, what the Duck Award is pretty much just I select an individual, a team, group, organization, and it's just one of those things like instead of saying what you say what the duck. That's pretty what it stems from. Anybody that knows me, that's the term I use all the time. So I pick a winner for that every time we do the corner. So a couple of honorable mentions. So I would say social media. Like, I don't know if you've been following, but there has been a girl that has been famous across the internet lately for saying a specific phrase during the interview. And it's, I'll play it.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Yes, I have no idea.
So this just illustrates my point what I said earlier about social media. Like, back in the day, like
I like it.
When kids grew up, you ask them, what do you want to be? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an astronaut. Now people want to be a social media influencer. And
digital creator.
Digital creator, thank you. They dream for moments like this where you say something or post something and it goes viral. When this girl said this in an interview, I mean, it was to shout her around the internet. In fact, they've got T-shirts and hats with the same saying on it. And I didn't know that's how you spelled it. I always spelled it when I was a kid, like H-O-C, but it's H-O-W-K-T-U-A, Hawk Tour, right? So it's like, she is like internet famous and people are making shirts about it. And there's one company called, I can't remember the name, but they found her and they got her to sign a bunch of T-shirts, and shout out to them because they're allowing her to benefit from this phrase that she's used. But instead of us talking about, the war and the Gaza Strip or the war in Ukraine or the upcoming election, we're talking about Haktua. So anyway, honorable mention for that one.
She must be related to old girl that spit on New York from Flavor Flav.
Pumpkin. Yeah, Pumpkin.
Was it Pumpkin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she spit on old girl, yeah.
I would have gave that ass a free left and right two-piece. Like,
not a free.
No, it's what she said afterwards.
That's what yeah.
That's what she said afterwards. No. You played it just now.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But hopefully, for young children that's watching this, you didn't catch the phrase of what she's meaning by that. But if you did,
they caught it.
I apologize. But anyway,
that's the first time I ever heard that.
Car crash. Yes.
That's the first time I heard it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so going back to the original conversation we had about General Wolfsbach and this thing with Stanton. I said earlier that I think the issue is we are all at fault. General officers, FGOs, CGOs, senior NCOs, airmen, it is all of our fault, myself included. Every time we've seen somebody that looked a little bit questionable in their uniform, maybe the beard didn't look right, or maybe they're wearing a pair of Converse tan sneakers as OCP boots with their uniform, or maybe somebody had the Coco like nails from SWV in their service dress uniform, and or whatever, and they've got like neon green nails or whatever, or maybe it's the guy that's got like 3-4 buns on the top of their head, and they said that it's because of a religious accommodation, or maybe it's whatever. Lord. At some point, all of us have walked by it, or we said, that seems weird. and we ask somebody, hey, is that legit? Instead of us knowing or us looking it up or whatever. Case in point, I ran into a situation yesterday. I won't go into names to protect the innocent. But same issue. I had an NCO that kind of like was a little bit bold at the visitor center. I checked him, called it flight chief. I won't even go into the part about the NCO development. Somebody mentioned that earlier. Somebody, let me ask you a question, because you're OG.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
Let's
Lord.
say if you are the tech sergeant, the senior ranking enlisted person on duty, you are the flight chief.
Yeah.
But the visitor center doesn't work for you. But they've got an agitated chief master sergeant down there causing some business. And he said he want to see the flight chief. Would you go down there, or would you say, hey, that's not my section, I'm not responding?
Oh, bro, I'm there. Oh, I'm there, yo.
Yeah, I rest my case. So he was going to be, him and his staff sergeant was going to be my other honorable mention, because it's a poor excuse for leadership. Like if you are the flight chief, you get the benefits and you get the disadvantages or unbenefits of it. If you're going to go down there and talk to a chief and you're going to get the shit kicked out of you, the snot kicked out of you, hey, you the flight chief. Just like you get that cushiony vehicle that you're riding in, nobody's got to ride with you as the flight chief. You got to take your lumps too, but they didn't go down there. So that was going to be my other honorable mention. But anyway, so what the Doug Award goes to all of us. This is the reason why General Wilsbach said what he said. It's not because of one specific incident. Huh? What's that? Well, you DD-214s that's at the party, y'all not included in this because y'all at the party. But all those that still in uniform, we are all guilty. We need to get our together. We need to get it together. It should not take a 4-star general to put out a memo and to be blasted over Air Force Times to say we need to get back to standard. If he wants to do an open ranks inspection, he shouldn't have to tell his wing commanders or the chiefs to do it. We should be doing that. And really the joke is on us because we should have been doing this a long time ago.
Facts, bro.
So that being said, we are all sharing my screen. Hopefully y'all see it. I
don't have it yet. All right. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? We are all, what the Doug Award goes to everyone in uniform in the Air Force, regardless of rank. We need to get our shit together. I'm sorry, I forgot the thing. We need to do better, folks. Let's just do better. Like, it shouldn't take General Wilbach to say it. Like, be bold.
Matt Morris said now.
Huh?
There you go.
Said.
Who? What's that?
Matt Morris said, Chief, how many chiefs, generals, senior NCOs come through?
You tell Matt Morris to be quiet. Every time he always coming in at the last minute to say some stuff, and he don't never get on the show. Stop being scared.
That's not a true statement, Matt. Matt, that's not a true statement. That's not a true statement.
Every city comes through complaining every day.
How many chiefs, generals, senior NCOs come through complaining every day? The flight chief would
live at the gate.
They do it differently. No, because what happens is they come through the gate. And those generals don't call the flight chief. Those generals don't ask for the flight chief. Those generals go to their office, and then they call down to the wing commander, and then the wing commander. So majority of those complaints don't. Nobody calls and says, "Yo, I want to see the flight chief." You know, majority of those folks that you named, bro, they're all going to the upper leadership chain, and it comes downhill, and then you got to do an official response to go back up. Those are official complaints, bro.
Yeah. Facts. So anyway, like I said, what the Duck Award when it goes to all of us, we need to do better, man. I'm going to start. I think I started yesterday by having a good conversation with those 2 NCOs yesterday and their chief, and I'm going to start tomorrow by giving my exec some pointed feedback tomorrow about his performance too.
All right, don't put your stuff on blast. Goodness, great. All right, y'all. Well, great show today in the corner. Poor Philly get out of control.
His exec a gift card already.
Yeah, right.
No doubt, yo.
Thank y'all for coming on. Great show today. Jess, go ahead if you got any final words.
Thank you all for coming to the corner. Samil, it's always great to see you when you're not on vacation. You know, DC over here prepping for his vacation, but we really appreciate you all coming to the corner. We look forward to scheduling more guests. And if y'all have ideas or suggestions, please send them our way.
Appreciate that. Philly, go ahead if you stay under control.
Yeah, thanks for listening as always, and we will see y'all again in the next 2 weeks. I won't be there, unfortunately, because I will be on the cruise with my gal. You know what I'm saying? When my taco meet out, when my taco meet out, you know what I'm saying? Doing my thing, I'm working on my dances or whatever. But yeah, so again, for all of us out there, all you leaders out there, when you checking your troop because they doing something wrong and they said, well, the AFI says it, just do this.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on
That's
that
right,
thing.
spit on that thing. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta spit on that thing.
Hey, look, this is where we need Rick and Jenny in the comments because you about to make EO like crazy.
Yeah. Like Philly DC told me to say it.
They show the AFI. No, I'm saying to me, they show the AFI just honk to us, spit on that thing. That's right.
Yo, you stupid. Hey, Philly, real quick, man. Where you cruising to?
We're going out of Galveston, Texas. So we're going to Honduras. There's like 4 other stops. It's like a 7-day cruise on Royal.
Oh, all right. That's what's up. 2 weeks. I'll be out too, man. We're going out of Canaveral, man.
Word?
We're going, a 10-day
Yeah,
joint.
the Jim Jam game gonna be on point because I gotta get my guns ready so I can have my wife beater off like you. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yo.
So I can do my job. I can do my
Thank
R&B
you,
look. You know what I'm saying?
Stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready. You got a white beater around under there too. Yo, let that joint out, yo.
No.
I got my hairbound on. Yeah, can you send the rain? Got my hype beat out. That's right, man.
Hey yo, JP, make sure you tell your dude I'm a good guy. Yo. I was just giving you your props, yo. All good, yo. No harm, no foul.
DC, but you fit this
Right.
shit. Like we just gotta make sure. Hey, we're gonna turn around and get him the duck.
Yeah, straight up, man. Get you the duck.
Messed up, man.
Yeah.
What's good, man?
LaBelle, you got any last words for everybody? I appreciate you coming on, by the way. Always.
Just for y'all, man, because I love the time that we get to spend together. For me, this keeps me connected. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure other folks out there and what they take from this as far as its purpose, man. But for me, I love seeing my people. I love connecting, and I appreciate the corner, man, for you guys always allowing cats to get on here and just share. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to the next one.
Appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate you. If we ain't canceled, we'll be on in 2 weeks, but appreciate y'all.
I
Thank you for listening.
Spit on that thing.